Morning. Do people in here watch The Office? Yeah, Jim Halpert, Dwight Schrute. Well, for those of you who don't know, The Office is a show about the employees of a paper company. It's satirical and kind of in a very clever way, makes fun of the seriousness of a pretty monotonous workplace. And the show in many ways reminds me of Brooks. And listen, I love Brooks. I am blessed to be here, but man, the schedule makes you want to take naps. Like, the schedule here is rough, and I realize it's Monday, and so before I say what I want to say, we're going to watch this video. I'll have a few things to say. It'll be quick, and we'll be out of here.
Last week I gave a fire safety talk, and nobody paid any attention. It's my own fault for using PowerPoint. PowerPoint is boring. People learn in lots of different ways, but experience is the best teacher. Today, smoking is going to save lives. Does anyone smell anything smoky?
Did you bring your jerky in again?
Oh my God!
Fire!
Oh, fire! Oh my goodness! What's the procedure? What do we do, people?
The phones are dead.
Oh, how did that happen?
It's out in the hall.
No, we don't know that. The smoke could be coming through an air duct.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Everybody calm down.
No, Michael, no! Touch the handle. If it's hot, there could be a fire in the hallway.
What does warm mean?
Oh my gosh, try the other door.
Not a viable option. What next?
Don't try.
The other door.
Oh, here's a door. Check that one out. How's the handle?
It's warm. Okay, go to the back
Well,
door.
another option. Another option. Jeez. Okay, settle down, everyone. No
I
bunching.
forgot my purse.
Leave it, woman.
Get out of the way. Go, go,
No,
go.
things can be replaced, Phyllis. People, human lives, however, can...
Ah, my hand. That's hot.
This was hot too.
Okay, we're trapped. Everyone for himself.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go. Get out of my way.
Okay. Calm, please. Have you ever seen a burn victim? Okay. Procedure. Exit options. Where do we go, folks? Use a what to cover the mouth? A what? A rag. A damp rag, perhaps. Let's remember those procedures. What are the options? Okay, that's the wrong way. We've already tried that. Remember your exit points. Exit points, people. What's next? Huh?
Stay alive. I'm getting help.
Pull me up.
You're too heavy.
I only weigh 82 pounds. Save Bandit.
How about 911? Anyone? 911.
What do we do?
Use the surge of fear and adrenaline to sharpen your decision making.
Okay, I am not dying here. Come on.
What is that?
The fire's shooting at us.
What are the name of fires going on?
You're trying to get
This has been a test of our emergency preparedness. There is no fire. It was only a simulation.
What?
Fire, not real. This was merely a training exercise. So, what have we learned? Oh, come on. It's not real, Stanley. Don't have a heart attack.
No. You will not die. Stanley, you will not die. Stanley, Barack is president. You are black, Stanley. I'm going to give him mouth to mouth.
No. Don't give him mouth to mouth for this.
You're going to swallow his tongue. Open your mouth.
Michael.
Don't swallow it. I'm fine. Leave me alone. I'm saving it.
Yeah. Wow, right? So I wanted to show you all this video because I feel as if Brooks gets very serious at times. And so the other day I was doing my environmental science homework, and I was really getting into it. I was in the library in the Mac lab, right? And all of a sudden my mom calls me, in typical parental conversation, how's life? You're staying out of trouble, whatever, right? And we keep talking, and then I start talking about that homework. You know, photochemical smog does this. Acid deposition is an atmospheric phenomenon. And before I could really get into it, my mom goes, Sebastian, that is so boring. Call me when you need something. And that was my mom, and I kind of just laugh and I say, okay, see you, Mom, and I click and I end the call. And so you can take that conversation in different ways. But she was right. A lot of what we do in school is boring, and frankly, doesn't always apply to day-to-day life. And it scares me because at a place like Brooks, it's easy to become an SAT score. And I see a lot of people worrying about really minute things and numbers and AP tests, and trust me, I've been there. Last year, for example, I really wanted to get the Apple internship for the SFS Brooks program. I religiously studied the new products, the company's history, and had multiple people revise my essays. And they had us wait for almost a month. The opportunity is a huge commitment, and so I turned down another internship and a job opportunity, and I remember getting the results. I was in Morocco in Zoe's dinky little Toyota, and it was late. It was probably 2 or 3 in the morning. You know, we were just booling. And I got the email, and I told him to stop the car. He stopped the car. We turned off the music, and I checked, and I still have the email. I actually started it, and I want to share it with you guys. So, dear Sebastian, thank you for expressing an interest in Apple's engineering technology camp. Whatever, I get denied. And I really thought I was going to get it. And so not only was I heavily disappointed, but also I was left with no summer plan. And for the next month or so, I was scrambling to do something. Sorry, I lost my place here. And so on one of the first days of summer, I applied to work at a Starbucks in Cambridge. You know, I just wanted to make some money, and I really had nothing better to do. So I go to my interview, and it did not go well. I learned that there are way too many flavors of coffee. And so I'm walking back to the train station when I see a flyer that is for the Harvard Crimson, and it reads, "High schoolers, welcome. We'll edit your college essays." And so I had nothing better to do, and I walk a few blocks to this small but respectable and very classy-looking building. I entered through this huge, heavy crimson red door, and a skinny Asian boy started showing me around. Everything in this place is beautiful. I'm talking quartz, I'm talking oak wood, I'm talking gold everywhere for no reason. And this design and architecture was everywhere. And I start talking to the guy about a multitude of things, but small talk really. Until we start talking about a video game, Call of Duty. See, I used to run a YouTube channel, and we were part of the same YouTube realm and competing clans. And so basically just talked about nerd things for somewhere around an hour. We didn't talk about essays or the Crimson or anything until it came to the point of me saying, "Hey, so what do you do here?" And he answers by saying, "Well, right now, I'm doing back-end programming for sponsored content." And basically what that is particular service to Harvard alumni, including design, photography, and basically anything technology that a customer needs. that doesn't know how to do it. So basically, it's old people that don't know how to use Instagram. And I found it really cool, and I kind of jokingly, but at the same time, told him, "This is really cool. If you need any sort of help, I would love to work. I would work here for free." And he looks at me, and I will never forget what he said. He goes, "Well, we've been needing a freelance intern. Why don't you start Monday?" And yeah, my mind was going a million miles per hour, and he was completely serious. All of a sudden, I get in contact with Derek Choi, the current president of the Crimson, and I'm showing up every day for the rest of the summer. And I tell you this experience because your life plans aren't always going to work. In fact, they mostly won't. But I promise you that if you're well-intentioned, if you're focused, and if you're determined, things eventually will come your way. And so that Monday I started, and I freaking loved it. And at the end of the day, I had to walk back to the red line to go home, and I walked past that Starbucks. And looking back, I'm so thankful for that freaking Starbucks, even though they never hired me. And I'm so thankful for that email, even though Apple never took me. The best things that will happen to you here at Brooks and in life will come by chance. So now I just wanted to do a quick activity. If you recognize anyone in the following photos that we'll show in a second, please raise your hand. All right, nice. So now if you know anyone from this next set of photos, please raise your hand. Okay, so a considerably less amount of people, but still some people that know them. And also, I was showing a friend these slides, and the person on the bottom right is not El Chapo, so if you raise your hand because of that, it's not El Chapo. So those were pictures of the 10 richest people in the world, and the only difference between the first and the second slide was that all the people in the first slide dropped out of college. I guess Warren Buffett was sort of an exception. He's controversial when it comes to this formality, but the point remains the same. School wasn't their priority. Let me repeat that. Half of the richest people in the world said, "Screw school, I can do this. I'm going to risk it all just to be slightly more interesting and because I believe in what I'm doing right now." And the majority of you only recognize the first slide. All of this going back to my point, arbitrary degrees, monotonous standardized tests, and dull applications do not define you. Those 5 people were denied, criticized, and written off because they didn't focus on some trivial tasks. Not everything is possible, but any one thing is. And so my Starbucks moment will happen to you, but only if you let it. And I promise, if you keep believing in your own conviction, things will come your way. And this happens with little details. Cleaning up in the dining hall after other people, working out long after practice is over, and making conversations with people you normally don't, all while no one is watching. Doing things to improve yourself and because you genuinely believe in them. Always putting your best foot forward, regardless of any kind of reward. And so I'll leave you with these last 5 bullet points to improve your life at Brooks. Number 1, take cookies from the dining hall and break them apart to make cookie cereal. This may or may not be the most important one. Number 2, keep talking. As an example, I love the controversial emails that have been occurring recently. Not because people are fighting, but because people care. People have been disagreeing and they want to tell people why. When I was a 16-year-old wise fool, as a new student, those kinds of emails would have never happened. And so I'm glad to see that over time, people have started to care just a little more. Whatever side you're on, keep talking. Improve your points. Number 3, there should be an unwritten rule on whose classes to take before you graduate. And so I'd have to say for me, you have to take Mr. Carson, Mr. Graham, or Mrs. Holmes' class. They are the closest thing to highest class of teaching that I've received. It is not necessarily the content of their class, yet the stimulation of what they have to say and what you will think. And I urge other teachers to aspire to be more stimulant. Number 4, acquire a skateboard, scooter, or any means of transportation of choice. It is the first step towards making your work here at Brooks smarter. In the long run, it will save you a plethora of time in which you can savor commodities, such as, for example, Fortnite, which, by the way, add me, Q Neos. But anyways, in order of avoiding hypocrisy, my couch car will be returning to Brooks as long as I can fix it. But until then, longboarding is my transportation of choice. Number 5, make 1 or 2 good friends. And I'm talking friends that you will live with and consider as family. Treat them like your brother or sister and do not overextend your family. Be personal, and I wish I would have been told this advice when I was sitting in your place as a sophomore. It will solve a tumultuous amount of issues. Lastly, and I guess 6, show a baby picture of yourself during your senior speech. Thank you.